Welcome in, everybody. It is Monday.
Oh, you're welcome, all right.
You're welcome.
Oh, you're welcome. We should do that. We should make it to where instead of all the pleasantries and niceties, we should just be like, oh, you're welcome, all right, chat.
The year of
evil.
evil.
Oh, that's right. You're and you'll like it.
The year of evil.
It's the year of evil.
Evil. Now, Jason, I have decided something for myself personally, but I need your expert knowledge before we get going on very important painting stuff.
This sounds fishy.
Anytime
he says I'm an expert, I'm about to get a really, really crazy question.
Are handkerchiefs gross? Hold, wait a second. Are handkerchiefs...
Yes.
They're gross?
They're gross. Yeah, handkerchiefs are gross. That's why they invented Kleenex, so you didn't have to carry your snot around in your pocket. Right? You could throw it away. It's somebody else's problem.
That's right.
But if you're telling me in order to save turtles and sea life, we have to go back to handkerchiefs, I'm probably okay with that too. I grew up changing diapers, and there weren't disposable diapers. My mom didn't choose to buy disposable diapers. They had disposable diapers when my sisters were born.
Right.
She did washable diapers, cloth, cotton, washable diapers.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to change my sister's diapers that were cloth washable diapers.
Okay.
It was the most disgusting thing I think I've ever done in my life.
That's pretty rough.
Because you got to scrape them clean first and then throw them in a hamper.
Oh,
yeah, it's gross.
Well, welcome in, everybody. We're doing some
gross.
airbrushing today. So, Jason, if you all didn't know, you were doing a test scheme this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did Saturday.
Handkerchiefs are awesome.
Mm-mm.
All right, so...
Hipsters think handkerchiefs are awesome.
They do? I don't think... Oh, no, I don't want to get into that. I was just about to say, do you think I'm a hipster? I'm not a hipster. I'm an old man.
It's a tough conversation because you're on that weird... Spectrum of like hipster that's gone almost so far that you're just old. Right? It's like when the hipsters start listening to dance hall music, and then they start listening to like ballroom dance, and then they start listening to orchestral arrangements, and then they start into like old, big band, and that becomes the hipster thing. And then and then all of a sudden you're at a point where your end of year recap says you're 93.
That's
and you realize that even hipsters, you've passed them by. You were so hip, you passed the hipsters by.
Yeah.
Most of the hipsters would not commit as much as you have. So you're in a league of your own.
Oh, I thank you for that. I do use a handkerchief, which makes me ancient, apparently. Oh my gosh.
I did this.
This is cool. I like this. It's very...
I did this because I wanted a nice warm undertone.
Yeah, okay.
For some bright colors.
What do you call this technique? Is this
airbrushing?
Is it like blend? Did you blend it?
It's airbrushed.
So
that's all airbrushing.
It's just airbrushing.
And then I put Payne's Gray wash on the flesh.
Oh, okay.
A really thin Payne's Gray wash over the flesh.
Okay.
To give it some to cool it down even further.
Chris is the hipster of the hipsters?
He's the king of the hipsters.
I don't think so.
It has an angry snake tail. Yes, it does.
That's actually pretty cool. All right.
Jason woke up and chose, why was that violent? I'm just telling the truth.
That's true. That wasn't violent.
I'm just telling the truth.
I've asked this to many people.
I invited Chris to dinner tonight. I don't know if he responded to me. Did you respond to me?
I did. I said I can't swing it.
See?
I know.
I invited him to dinner at his favorite. I'm going.
No, I appreciate
to the place.
I said I appreciated it.
That Chris always wants to
go. I know.
And so the first thought I said when I said this to Jen is like, oh, Chris is going to be mad. And she said, you should invite him. I said, I shall. And I did. And he shan't.
I know. Okay, first
of all. See how that went? I shall, I did, he shan't.
Okay, we are going to get into streaming. I almost was going to have you come over to my house, but when you texted me, I was deep cleaning everything. And it wasn't presentable. Otherwise, I would have invited you over to my house this weekend.
Oh, yesterday when we were up
I was like, oh, this is the perfect time.
In the boondocks.
But
we were in the boondocks.
This thing's huge.
So this thing is huge.
Do you need me to move the camera at all?
El Consumption Beasto. No, I think we're fine.
Okay, I'm going to keep it pretty far out because you're going to be airbrushing today, right?
This is the Spires Consumption Beast. Yeah.
This model...
Chris built it, so if it has any problems, it's his fault.
It's very interesting. just when you start looking at it, they do a good job of having their models get more interesting as you look at them.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Look at the gaping maw, and then it's like, oh, actually, this whole thing is the mouth.
Yes.
Oh,
yes. Like, I want to know what it looks like when the mouth is closed. Like, these big lower mandibles are up here someplace.
There's a lot going on with this thing.
Yeah. So.
All right.
So yeah.
So Jason, where are we going to start with this? Because you did, this is red oxide primer.
Well, I did red oxide primer over the black prime that you did.
Oh, Mo, really quick, 113 months. What up, Mo? That's a lot of months. All right, so you did red oxide primer.
Yes, it's red oxide primer over the black primer that Chris did. This one, I did not do black primer. I just did red oxide first.
Yeah.
But I hadn't thought of that before Chris primed the model, so.
Oh.
But it's okay. It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. It's okay. It's fine. We're good.
This thing is pretty interesting.
It's like a weird amalgam of insectoid grossness. It's going to be pretty fun. I'm going to keep it on top.
How do you? Oh, you have a cork too.
It doesn't stick to it because it's so heavy.
Yeah.
But I'm going to set it on the cork so I can grab it easier. That's what we're going to do. So now we're going to airbrush a bunch, Chad.
Okay.
The first thing we're going to do is bright jade.
Bright jade.
Bright jade, my friends.
All right. Welcome in, everybody. Sorry, I had to ask Jason a personal question. I'm back. Yes, thank you so much. I'm feeling a little bit better. I had a rough go of it this weekend, but I'm feeling good.
He survived. He survived. He's here.
I've conquered.
He shan't.
I shan't and I won't.
Yeah.
What was that?
Well, I'm yeah. So,
so
there's that.
What do you say? Okay.
So we're just gonna top down it, right? I'm just gonna keep the angle of the of the airbrush at somewhere around whatever this is, 10 o'clock. And I'm just gonna run it across all of the body parts. Not really changing the angle of the dry brush at all. And we'll see what we get. So the first time, especially on a model this size, you can't really turn it readily. Very easy, so just keep the airbrush pointed in the same direction and kind of just hit everything you can get.
Now, do you have any rhyme or reason? You're just trying to catch raised areas here?
Yeah, just raised areas, right? It's the traditional zenithal prime from 10 o'clock, right? We want to make sure we leave some good red shadows. That's the whole point of the red. But we do want the bright turquoise to be bright. So again, notice I'm not switching the angle of the brush. I'm just raising it and lowering it to the model so that I can get into areas that I want to get, but I'm trying my hardest to not change the angle. I'm only going to hit what the brush can see. We talk about that a lot. There's a lot of areas I can't hit right now, right? As I turn it around, you'll see tons of red because the airbrush just can't see those parts. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to kind of rotate it a bit here and do it on the other side too. It's a big ass model.
It really is. Now, somebody's asking, red shadows under jade, is it complementary for contrast?
As a complementary for contrast?
Yeah, Booker's asking, is that color theory? Red shadows under jade, complementary for contrast?
I mean, red and green.
Yeah.
Right? If you want to look at it that way, yes. This is bright jade, so it is very blue. But with enough green that it stays working well. But no, I just think in terms of warm coloring underneath cool coloring is what I'm going for here.
Yeah. Man, these big models like this really tend to just be fun to do this. Like,
oh yeah.
Look how instant fun that is.
Oh yeah, it's very, very rewarding,
satisfying,
because it gives you instantaneous drama on the model.
Yeah.
Right, very dramatic lighting style. Now I've got the angle for this other side a little steeper than 10 o'clock, just so I can get a little bit of hazing on everything. As for this, I want to make sure I don't leave anything too in the red. Right, I don't want one side of the model to just be red. I want everything to have the red and the bright jade on it if possible. Right? But it gives it kind of an otherworldly look, which is cool. Again, just kind of rotate the model around, realizing that, you know, your sunlight is going to be up high enough that it's not going to be like a spotlight and leave anything in pure shadow. Going to have some ambient lighting going on. That works pretty well.
Ambient lighting. I'm all about that.
No, not ambient lighting. Reflected. I guess it is technically ambient. So that's pretty good. Now we've got all the bits. Go ahead and feather some under the underbelly just a little bit. I don't really care about the mouth as much. Because it's going to be its own coloration.
Oh, Brent's got a great question on this right now. Okay, so this is the part I don't get. How do you decide when to turn the model or get the dark side, in quotes, with the lighting, especially if you're doing a 10 o'clock? Can you explain that a little better?
Well, yeah, I just want to make sure that my shadows all fall like it was up above. On a model like this, because this bright jade, you know, this side is going to be a little bit more red than this side. See? But only by a little, because my red comes up higher on these, because the light's coming from the other side technically. Now, I want to make sure that there isn't a stripe of just red across the body of the model here. So that's why I'm coming over here and just kind of blending that back a hair. I make sure everything's got enough coloration on it, and that there's no areas that don't have any of this combo of the jade and the red on them, because we're still going to do 2 more colors. So a lot of it is planning your color scheme out and thinking, okay, well, if this were only 1 more highlight going over it, I'd leave more of the red showing. But in this case, we're going to have 2 more colors going over this. And so I'm going to cover more of my red, because I have to have a landing spot for my other colors to sit on. Otherwise, I push parts that are, you know, red, and then everything else is blended above the red, which I don't want. I want it to all gel together nicely. So think of it in terms of light comes from the left side or the right side of the model, if you really want to break it down into simplistic terms. Now, when I say, you know, 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, then it's high left, high right, but you can also, you know, think about left and right and rotate the model to where you're looking at the left side where the light comes from, and then make sure you rotate it enough to where that light can peek through to the other side too. Because a model this big with a sun in the sky is not going to shadow itself left to right. The sun is up in the sky at 2 o'clock, right? But it's not close enough, and the light's hitting over here too. So when you think about it this way, the light's hitting this side of the model, but light is also hitting the ground over here and bouncing back to this side of the model, right? Rocks, stone, grass, water, everything that reflects light over here, because this is also in light, is bouncing light back this way. So it'll be dimmer, but we're not at the point where we're doing the highest value light anyway. So you just want to make sure you get a good buildup of contrast, so that, again, when I do these things, the easiest way to tell if you're on the right path is that when you look at the top of the model, all you should see is the color you just sprayed. And when you look at the bottom of the model, all you should see is the first color that you sprayed.
Yeah.
Right? So we're doing well everywhere.
And how far away do you spray, Jason?
I was spraying about 3 or 4 inches, just because this model's so big. Typically, you can get as close to the model as you want, as you're comfortable. All right, so we're going to clean that out. That looks pretty good. I like it.
And while you're cleaning it out, Pistol Whip says, replace my nozzle, needle, and head cap. Still pretty significant dry tip with white primer. Is it simply unavoidable? I don't want to assume bad bottle of primer.
You may be spraying too much or too high of air pressure. remember, when you're priming, you need to make sure that you're doing light dusting coats. You don't want to just blast it on there. So if you're blasting it on there, you're overloading the needle with paint that doesn't get sprayed, right? Depending on your air pressure, right? Higher air pressure will take more paint off the needle, so you might turn your air pressure up and see if that works. Or you need to not pull the trigger back all the way. We have a great little short that Chris just shot, as a matter of fact, that I watched today. That last week we talked about that.
Now I am getting into a rhythm of getting some of these snippets chat in a more easily digestible, fast manner. So that will be coming out this week.
You don't want to just press the button down and hammer back, and so you get the most paint possible when priming. That's what causes priming problems. Trust me, they don't prime cars or houses. I mean, if they do prime cars and houses that way, you're at Earl Scheib. You're getting the cheapest paint job on the planet. It's not how you prime. You want your prime to go on in a very light, dusted coat, the way you want most of your paint to go on. Just covering this guy, I didn't just hammer the paint back. I let it build up slowly. And that make sure that all of the paint that crosses your needle gets actually sprayed onto the model. When you pull the trigger back a lot, you'll overload it. The amount of air will leave paint on the needle, and that's when you get tip dry. You're not shooting all of the paint that's running across the tip of the needle. Now, you can get tip dry because you have a bent needle too, right? If you have a bend or kink in your needle, then it will collect paint at the kink, and that can be a big problem as well. But assuming that you're saying your needle's straight, then that's usually not where I start my thinking. But you can have an ever so slight little deviation in the tip of the needle that will cause you to build up a bead of paint on the end. And that little bead of paint, of course, will dry and cause you all sorts of problems. This gets worse and worse and worse to the point to where you don't get any paint coming off the end of the needle.
Also, Jason and I will let you guys know we're going to be doing the challenge review this week. Wednesday?
Is it Wednesday we're doing it?
I was going to ask you. Yes, typically we do it Wednesday, the
Wednesday,
following week. So this week we're going to do that.
Wednesday?
Yep. I will also make sure to message you all in the Discord and let you know.
Do the review on Wednesday. Have some fun with that.
And then everybody can start. It's Army Men month.
It is Army Man month. Gold, yellow.
Gold and yellow.
It is Army Man month. Dollar Store Army Men. Get to it. We're going to have some fun painting an Army Man at some point in this short month. Holy cow, it's February. We got so much to do before Adepticon.
This is true. A lot
so
coming
much
out.
to do.
A lot happening.
So much, Chris.
That's all right.
All right. And again, same thing.
This is going to be great.
It has like cat hair on it. You don't have a cat.
I don't have a cat.
All right, same thing. Get the model moved to where you're at, that 10 o'clock spraying on the left-hand side. I put my hand here just so I don't get a ton of overspray on stuff, and it helps a little bit. This we want to keep more into just the highlight areas, and again, that light dusting. Notice how I'm not just loading the model up with tons of paint. Just a light dusting to make sure that we can get everything that the brush can see from this angle, but focusing more on the high spots, like on the knees, here.
Oh, look at that, man. That's awesome.
Let it do its thing. Let it start blending. Then come back up to the top where you've got closer to your light source. Build it up here, top of the arm a little bit. Again, not laying in really any more paint, but I'm just going to start building up color. We're going very thin.
This is very similar to my ghostly workup.
Or like night haunt kind of stuff?
Uh-huh.
This color I do want to keep more from this angle, right? Because I don't want to cover all of my bright jade. I want to have my bright jade peeking through.
Yeah.
Right, except for possibly up high. A lot of little bitty hairs on here. You get shedding eyelashes?
Me? No.
That. I'm gonna rotate it over here. Actually, if I could hold it right, if we can grab this base correctly. If I could hold it right, then what I really want to do is you want to look at it like, okay, this is the side, this is the sun. Like if I'm the sun, this is the way I'm seeing the model. So you can see there's some areas I can see that don't have yellow on them. So because it blocks it here, right? So you want to just tilt it enough where I can start getting yellow to lay down on this side as well, on those areas that I can see from the angle that I like.
Hoosier says, it's super cool to see your stuff in the Conquest painting group. Are you going to play with this beautiful army at some point?
Oh, I don't know.
I think at some point Jason's going to teach us how to play.
I got to teach you?
You got to teach me. You can teach me. You can teach me. We'll figure it out. Roll dice.
All right, so I'm starting like that.
Ooh.
Needs a little bit more on this arm. And then we just take some license with it and see where we want more color just for our own use. We might want to brighten certain areas up because now when we turn the model around, you start seeing that more dramatic lighting.
Yeah.
Less yellow, more of the bright jade. On this side, the bright jade becomes that shadow that provides us with the drama. We don't want to lose too much of that over here. Just feather some yellow in where we want it.
How many layers of brush on primer would you use, Jason, in typical going over white?
Going over white?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Uh-huh.
Oh, what's white that you're brush on priming?
I vaguely remember you guys coming out with the brush on primer and showing off how to apply it properly on stream, but I can't find the VOD. My instinct says apply it thin, but then it looks kind of streaky and a lot of gray shows. How many layers should I go for? Using white, gray plastic, if that matters. White over gray plastic.
Oh, usually only 2.
I do a thick coat. I've always done a thick coat, but not let it pool, right? And no, he's going, what's this color? This is golden yellow?
Golden yellow.
Golden yellow over this. Yes, Lumberjack, it does level very well. We let last year at Adepticon, we let Louise Rogue Hobbies try it, and she was like, for the first time, and she was flabbergasted.
Flabbergasted.
She's like, this is great. I need to work on my Louise impression. It was not even close. And Ogre's asking, can you give this color scheme one more time, Jason?
Well, so far, it's red oxide primer, right, for the shadow. And then it's bright jade, and then golden yellow. And next is pale yellow. We'll put all this aside. I'm happy with that.
Gilborn's asking, how much did you thin this?
None. 0 thinning. Just paint in the pot on all of these so far.
There you go. Ogre, you're very welcome. And yes, you can use a regular brush with the brush-on primer. Lyle? Jason uses it to hide all of my mistakes and shame.
You don't have to.
Deep in the crevices.
You don't have to do anything special with it.
Hey, Gilborn, thank you. Don't thank us. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you for showing up. Hey, you are given thanks.
You'll be thanked. Yeah, I haven't thinned any of the colors. I will thin the pale yellow as a highlight so I can layer it on. It's going to cause the most contrast because, as you can see, even the golden yellow I've been doing in thin layers. So even where it's intended to be the brightest, it's not really golden yellow. It's a hybrid of the golden yellow and the bright jade. That greenish, very similar to bright yellow green that we get out of that. So whereas you might look at it and say, why didn't you just use bright yellow green? Well, remember, every paint has an opacity.
Yeah.
You can't just take the color you want and use it all the time because it might show the color beneath it and turn into something totally different. Had I used bright yellow green over the jade, we would not have as much yellow right now. It would be a lot more green. And I wanted that yellow warmth. But we want to make sure when we go with the pale yellow that the pale yellow doesn't just become like a white over the top of this real quick. We can do it and blend with it real quick on the first pass.
And the garnisher says, I'm a complete airbrush noob. What is your cleaning process between each color?
I'm literally just filling water in the cup and spraying it through.
That's it.
I wipe the I squirt water in the cup to loosen up all the paint that's left, dump it out, squirt more water, dump it out, squirt more water, dump it out. Then I wipe it out with the paper towel, then I dump it out, squirt, dump it out, squirt, dump it out without ever pushing air through it. And then when I've done that about 5 or 6 times, then I start pushing air through it to get all the paint that's down in the channel and the nozzle out by just running more water through it.
Pretty simple.
Because I'm just going to another color that's going to blend with the color I had in here anyway, so I don't even mind if there's a little bit of this yellow left in there. Just let it run all the way until it pulls the final bit of water out. Usually be pretty good. Then at the end, when I think I'm as clean as I need to be, I just make sure I don't have anything gunked up on the tip. Take any extra chunks off of there.
That's it. That's all she wrote. And that's it.
There you go. You'll have a little bit of moisture in the brush, which is good. So technically, I guess that thins the next color a little bit, but not drastically. We take Ein Coop.
Coop.
Pale yellow.
Okay, so you're doing a mix.
No, I'm just thinning it.
Oh, thinning it. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just thinning it.
That was a test.
Try not to thin your paint in the cup. Thin it in something else. Thin it in an outside cup, if you will. Pale yellow out. Glaze wash medium.
Gilborn says, I've got a model planning on entering into a competition. As I was putting on the black base edge, I noticed a nasty gash in the plastic. Any suggestions on how to correct this? Super glue?
Nasty gash in the plastic of what?
Yeah. Are you talking about in the base?
As I was putting on the black base edge, I noticed a nasty gouge in the plastic of the base edge?
I'm assuming so.
Probably some putty. Some sort of resin. You could use UV resin or something to flatten it out and then paint it again.
Tribe the Demon's asking, are you self-taught or did you go to some art school at some point?
Self-taught and the teaching of people that I've met along the way, right? So I can't say I didn't ever formally apprentice with anybody. That's not how this industry works. But I was lucky enough to go to some hobby stores in my youth where old graybeards like me were willing to talk to people kind of like I do.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't as nice as I was, to believe it or not. They just weren't. I would be lying to say any different. They were grumpy old men who would talk to me because they had nothing better to do, and I was incessant and asking questions. I would not leave them alone. I would not let them forget me, kind of a thing. So, all right, so I mixed that. I basically did, call it 2 to 1 to 1. 2 parts glaze wash, 1 part paint, 1 part water. Pour that directly in, and then same thing we've been doing. I just want to take this. I'm spraying off to the side to make sure I get through any of the inconsistent paint at the beginning of the brush. Once I get a fine line going, I'm going to come over here, and same thing we've done before. Just kind of start in close, about 2 inches away from the model, and I just want to do a light dusting of where I want my brightness to be loaded up on. All this top part up here is going to be the brightest, obviously, so we'll... That same angle, right? That 10 o'clock angle. We're never changing it because our light source never changes. It's always the sun or the cave light or whatever you can imagine painting this thing in, right?
Avian, thank you so much for that sub. We love you.
But here you don't want to be covering everything. You want to just load up your paint where you think your bright spot is, like on the top of the leg, and then just feather it real quick. And by feather means, what's a good way to do this? Pop it in close. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to show you what I mean by feathering. I'm going to do this ham hock here, okay?
Okay.
We're going to get in. I'm about 1.5 inches away. I'm going to start pulling back. See how I start loading up paint? Get it as bright as I think that area wants, and then start pulling the brush back and wiggling it so that I get it to brighten up the rest of the leg, but only barely. Right? And we'll do the one next to it here. Same thing. Down there. Same thing. Then I build up some hot spots of brightness, but I fade it out real quick. Same thing on like the knees here. Kind of build up on the knee, get it bright, kind of fade it back, kind of fade it down. Just pull the brush back. Maybe if you're good, just let go of the trigger a little bit so you don't get too much of that brightness, because it will cover up your other colors, right? So you want to make sure that you're not doing that. I'm going to get a little bit of brightness down the inside of the leg here, so I'll hold it like this. Put it down the inside of the leg like that. Then just work across the whole model this way.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
See, and because I'm going thin, you notice we're out here where I'm all jade. If I put the brightness on that, that brightness is not the same as the brightness over the yellow.
Yeah.
Right? Same with that back leg. There wasn't a whole lot of yellow there. Same amount of the pale yellow going over it, but the pale yellow, because it's thin, I thinned it down, is going over the jade instead of the bright yellow. And so you get a delineated highlight that is darker where it goes over the darker colors, brighter where it goes over the brighter colors. Whereas if you didn't thin the pale yellow, it would not do that. You would wind up getting your pale yellow to be the same brightness everywhere, which would kind of upset all the blending that you did early. Kind of pointing straight down on this foreleg over here, so I pick up some of these armor panels down here, get a little bit of shine on them, but it won't show up much from this direction.
And how do you, somebody's asking, how do you feather your trigger?
That little video that I wish he had that little video out already, right? Because this is a bright color, so I'll do it on my skin. You have a spot in your airbrush where first you push down to get air, then you start pulling back, and at some point it starts giving you paint right there, right?
The paint.
Any farther forward than that, I get no paint. Any further back than that, and I start to get too much paint. It starts spider webbing out, right?
Yeah.
So I want to keep my trigger where it gives me just that little bit of paint, and feathering is just moving around with that little bit of paint so I can make really nice blended areas. I'm not moving my finger at all. I'm just moving the brush. And I get really nice faded blends like that. There's no hot spot there. It's just nice. And as you pull the brush further back when you're doing that, right? So I can go in and start doing that in close like this to build up a center. Then I can start pulling back as I go, and it'll fade it even better for me, right? So depending on how bright I want it. That's feathering with the airbrush. You can do it with distance and the same push, or you can do it in close and just moving the brush, but you just want to make sure you're moving the brush and don't have a whole lot of paint coming out. That make sense?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense to me, Jason.
I don't know that I trust that you're a normal human, but I want to hear from chat.
That I'm not a normal human?
Well, I didn't mean to offend you.
Beep boop. He's found out. Abort.
Abort.
Boop boop.
Abort.
No, I'm normal. That's what AI robots would say. Beep boop.
Mr. Jason, I am a completely normal human being.
Mr. Jason, why don't you show the chat what I mean?
I am a completely normal human, Mr. Jason.
I think you would kill me if I started talking like that for real.
100%.
Oh. I kind of like it when you sung the last bit of that. That was nice.
%.
So just looking for those raised angles again?
I just want where it's going to be brighter. Then feather out into the darker areas.
Grimoire Paint, it makes perfect sense. As someone looking to invest in their first airbrush later this year, I find this all extremely helpful. Yes. Nice. I'm glad you did. That's kind of like, when I saw this model, I'm like, okay, everybody could probably benefit from some airbrush highlighting and blending.
100%, yeah.
This is a great model to do it to because it's so big. Also, I like how you called that leg a ham hock. Because then I started thinking, this kind of, you could paint this as a giant crab.
Yeah.
Like a big orange crab.
Yeah, don't think I didn't think about that when I was looking at it originally.
But then you get to the centipede, like caterpillar vibe.
Vestigial caterpillar legs down there will hit with a little bit of highlight.
And then you got like a skeleton like spine going on. This thing is wild, man.
It is pretty wild, not gonna lie.
I called it on accident the consumer beast. It's a consumption beast. Little Billy says, Chris, welcome back. On January 30th, you said ... silence. I see. And I'm fired. I see. Little Billy, always a pleasure.
Or something. That's what he just said, Little Billy. He said, it's always a pleasure. Or something. Right? That's starting to look pretty good. Right?
I like
Versus
it.
our little guy that we did as a test model. I like it.
Lobster.
Nailed it. Sometimes it's hard to get the
Lobster.
color scheme right on a big model because there's so much area that you still need to keep that contrast going. You would think it might be easier, but it's really not.
It's very, I'm very curious what you're going to do with this big old gaping maw.
Paint it. That's what I do.
Oh, really?
That's what I do, Chris. I paint things.
You heard
I don't
the
know if
man.
you noticed that.
You heard the man. The consumer beast is here to sell you all the insurance. Oh, yes.
Oh, my God. That's the funniest thing ever,
your
right?
Insurance
Consumer beast
bit.
would like to know
Arr,
about your car's insurance.
what was it that you were... Die! Yeah. Or
Die!
Yeah, that's funny.
Have we talked to you about solar panels?
This consumer beast. This consumption beast.
Did you know the power of solar?
Ah! He's doing something. Can you imagine this thing in real life coming at you? Look at this. This is terrifying.
No, I can't.
Imagine
Considering the size of humans in this scope is like, not up to his bottom lip.
Really imagine this for a second, chat. If you saw this thing
skittering across the field towards you
in real life.
Nah, I'd just close my eyes and call it quits.
The size of a house.
It'd just be done.
Raking you up into its maw. Wow. It feels like somebody's trying to sell me something.
I love that.
Bacon,
It's a consumer beast.
Thank you so much for all those gifted subs.
What? Who's
Bacon
gifted subs?
Bacon, Bakken, Bicomatrin. Man, I am so sorry. This one got me. Baka Nanamunamunu. Hakapokaligu. Bak Nam
Chris,
Itron.
Just not even trying.
Baka Nam Itron. Baka Nam Itron. Hey, we appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Hey, and give him some hands or hugs.
Bakanomatron.
Bakanomatron. There you go. Chris might have had a small stroke.
Like the Necronomicon, but not Bakonomicron.
Whoa! So many words.
Bakonomatron.
Thank you. Baklava, thank you so much for those.
Count Bacula. Now where are we at? Is this where we've gotten here?
Count Bacula. Count Bacula, thank you so much for all those subs. Yes, Ghost Hunter, that is factually correct. Chris can't read. Bakamata Trunchly. I could go on for days for that. Thank you so much for those gifted subs. Hands and hugs. There you go. Ready? Ready? Here's some hugs. Bing, 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 bing. Hands. Bing, 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 bing. There you go. You're the best.
Alrighty.
How many calves did I wrestle this weekend? Oh, yes, none. I was not
That's so funny.
wrangling.
He's a calf wrangler. Who knew?
No, I
He
live
showed
in.
up in like all his finest cowboy garb.
I
We
wish.
were blown away.
I wish, man. That would have been hilarious.
Don't think we didn't sit there and talk about it. We were like, what if?
What if I
we were
showed
sitting
up?
here and Chris came out with his buddies wearing spurs and,
Yeah.
with his rope and sat there because they had a little plastic
Yeah.
test calf thing there.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Hey, you never
for
know.
Practicing.
Well, I live that far up there.
Lots of people with spurs on their boots and you're part of the woods. All right, so that's looking pretty good, yeah?
Yeah.
We still have our red underbelly.
Uh-huh.
Right, we've got that nice bright jade move into our yellows.
Mm-hmm.
And then over on this side, we've got less of the brightness, right? But still all the colors are present. And we want to come in and just kind of spot highlight again on this side with the pale yellow. We want to find a line that maybe gives us like a metallic sheen across this. A little bit of highlight. Something about like that.
Something about that. I like it. Justin, nice. I'm glad you got your giveaway prize, and we'll let you guys know we are going to give away one of these, Jason.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Great segue. Parabellum has decided to hop on the bandwagon with us. We're going to give one of these away, and we'll let you guys know. Make sure you're following our socials for those announcements and our Discord. You got a phone call, Lumberjack? What are you talking about? You're good.
Nobody talks on the phone anymore. Liar.
We're going to be doing our giveaway at some point this week is what I was saying. Exclamation mark giveaway on my end, but you guys don't have to do that. All you have to do is make sure you click this link. Coop-loop-oo. And if you've already entered, you only have to do it once a year. There you go.
I like it. Dunzos.
I mean, that is cool. Can you give us a quick recap, Jason?
I will. So we started with, I'll show you in pictures because we have the little one.
Oh, the little one.
Right? Up in close?
Yeah.
Or closer. Right? We have El Consumer Beast.
Yep.
And the Avatara.
Yeah.
Right? And I took pictures because I knew everybody would want to know the process.
Yes.
So we started with red oxide primer.
Yep.
Right? And then after the red oxide, we did bright jade over the top. And then after the bright jade, we did golden yellow over the top of that.
Yep.
And then after the golden yellow, boom, pale yellow on top.
That's it.
Okay, now on the Avatara, we've also done a coating of the pale, the Payne's Gray, very diluted over the skin parts. And we'll do the same thing here. We have to figure out what equals the skin parts that we want to do that on. And I think everything's skin or armor here. So I think we'll just do the whole model.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to brush wash because it's too big. It'll cause all sorts of problems. So we're going to airbrush a very thin Payne's Gray.
Oh, okay.
I think we might even, we're just going to airbrush the wash.
I've never seen
on it.
I haven't done that on this big of a model. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Are you doing that?
The Avatara has got armor and, you know, things that are decidedly armor and like a bow and weapons. So I didn't want to just do that. So I brushed on the Payne's Gray over the body.
Yeah.
I
see.
Yeah.
With this guy, you might have to just go for it, huh?
Yeah, with this guy, I think we're just going to airbrush. But we're going to airbrush the Payne's Gray wash. So you can do that. Payne's Gray wash.
Okay. Do you have to thin it at all? Or
I am, because I thinned it way down so that it wouldn't tint the model too bad. So we're going to thin the crud out of it. Oop, I got to clean the airbrush or we will be in a world of hurt. So again, people are asking, I just take the eye wash bottle and spray out the cup. Don't spray any air through it as you're doing this, but I spray out the cup, and then you'll see you've got that ring of paint in there. And so you just need to grab a paper towel. And wipe out the cup.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you can go back over to the thing.
Yep.
Yeah. And then you just get down in there and wipe it out. And you see all that paint is already starting to dry.
Yeah.
See how it's all stringy?
Right.
Right? So that's why you don't want to push air through the brush as you do this, because all that paint is already dry and will clog your brush like nobody's business. So you just want to kind of get it. See how in the cup? Zoom in?
Yeah.
I can't. You can't really zoom on that one.
No, I can't.
But you see all the little flakes of paint in there?
Yeah.
And so that's why you want to then flush all that out. Don't push any air through there. Just continue to flush all that out until you don't have any more. You can get your finger there and pull them out.
I can empty that out for you too, Jason.
Oh, we're going to have to here pretty soon. It'll last today because I think I'm done airbrushing after this.
Oh, you're not going to do the wash?
I'm going to do the wash, but it has enough left to do the wash.
Okay.
Okay, so now we think we've got all the big chonkies and stuff out, which is good.
Cool.
Then we can just go and put a full cup of water in here and then just blast it onto the paper towel until it goes clear.
Nice.
On a bright color like this, on a bright paper towel, I have to put my thumb in there to make sure we're not getting paint out still.
Right.
Spray on my thumb to make sure. When you're doing white on a white paper towel, you'll never know if you got paint or not. Right? And just hammer all the way back. Trigger all the way back. Max spray.
Yeah. Tribe the Demon is asking, can you use the glaze and wash medium regular Payne's Gray the same way? Yes, but it's also a little different, right, Jason?
How do you mean?
Essentially,
yes. Glaze wash medium mixed with Payne's Gray will make a Payne's Gray wash. It will not be as proper.
That's what I meant to say.
Because we've pre-mixed it in all the right combos in the pre-mixed washes.
Right. Okay.
So just like we did with the pale yellow.
Yep.
Payne's Gray wash. I don't know how many drops that is. And about 2 times that much, or about 2 times that much in glaze wash medium.
Well, and
then a little skosh of water, a little dash will do you.
So it's the ratio. What would the ratio number be?
On this?
Yeah.
2 to 1 to 1 again is what I typically tell people.
Okay.
Right? 2 parts glaze wash, 1 part paint, 1 part water. So if you want to break it down into drops, it's 1 drop of wash, right? 1 drop of water, 2 drops of medium.
Got it.
It never really pans out that way, but that's the way to think about it, I think.
Got it.
Pour all that in the airbrush. Be very diluted. I had to be very careful when doing this at home, brushing the wash on, because this last coat of airbrush will not be well cured at this point because it's so thin. So you have to be very careful when you go to do this, because you could get a you can move the paint around, right? Okay. If this works. I may have thinned it too much. Stick with it and see. I don't know. Here I am kind of flooding the surface. I'm spraying more than I normally would on a model.
Okay.
Because it's wash.
Right.
So I can go wetter with it. It still will move into the crevices, just not as noticeably as if I was doing it with a brush. Yeah, I think I'm too thin. Too thin, and definitely don't have enough. But we'll go ahead and keep spraying the rest of this cup now that I've started. Definitely tinting everything.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Having an effect.
Very so slightly.
Yep. Which is exactly the way that and you want to get the shadows and everything. I put it on the whole model, so we'll go into the red as well.
And you do this just to kind of blend everything?
I do it so that I could get a move into a little bit cooler tone on the body part of the littler model. This is working really well, but it's just really thin. I don't have enough color here, so I'll have to make another batch and go over this once it dries. But this is a good start. It's having a good pronounced effect on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can see the starting in of the blue. That's really hitting across the midtones and the shadows. It'll have more effect when it's that thin across the darker colors than the brighter colors, but I'm liking that a lot. We'll just need to mix that a little bit darker. Let's do that again. We'll do more paint. One thing to remember with washes is that they're already less opaque. So thinning them the same way might not get you what you're looking for. So I'm not going to add near as much of the glaze wash this time.
Okay.
And then I'll stick with just a little Scotia water. A little splooge.
Ooh, that's barely. Just a little bit.
Yeah, and you can already see that's already darker. Just as a finished product, that's darker than the other one was.
Very interested to see how that goes on through the airbrush.
We'll dump it in. I didn't clean the airbrush out. It's technically the same color.
Yeah,
don't care.
That's true.
Oh yeah, now I'm getting better coloration on the surface down my desktop surface here.
Oh yeah, you definitely can tell. Plum Crunchy's asking, will your shadow colors always dictate the environment the model is in?
Depends. I mean, no, because I use purple shadows for almost everything, but the landscapes I paint are not purple. You think in terms of, you know, being humans, that shadows are colder, right, or cooler, I guess is the way to say it. Maybe not cold, but much cooler than, other environmental areas where sun is shining. So we're really trying to recreate the coolness of shadows, not the environment's coloring. Now, that being said, if you were on a very red world and you wanted to do red underpin shadows like this, could you? Sure.
Yeah.
I typically don't think about that much, believe it or not. I'm not worried about what the color of the world might be, unless that's part of the in-game I'm going for with a particular model. Which there's plenty of times where that's the case. So now I'm sticking more, because I've got that first coat on there, I'm sticking more to shadows here. And the area coming directly up out of the shadows, those mid-tones. So I'm not going to go as much over the highlight, because I'll keep darkening my highlight up. So you'll see me pointing at the bottom of the model, basically, and spraying upward onto it.
And why did you decide to use the Payne's Gray wash instead of normal Payne's Gray?
Why did I decide?
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like it would give me a little bit of shading in the crevices and stuff. I'm not going to get that here because we're not applying it like a wash.
Right.
So it's going to be more intense on that other model than on this one, unfortunately.
Okay.
But still, having the desired effect. I don't like putting an overall wash on models this big.
Yeah.
They look really crappy. It's like putting a wash on an entire tank.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing what you're doing, right? Like, I can start to see the whole model get that filter.
Yep. Very light. Washes, especially when you airbrush washes, give you the ability to do very, very subtle filters like this. Again, it's a thing not a whole lot of people typically think about, because they're like, well, I mean, washes are for slathering on the model. But, we're getting a really nice bluishness there. It does a lot of heavy lifting. We have a really good contrast on all the panels.
Yeah.
Because of the way we airbrushed.
And I like how you kept the maw like your base for that.
I really didn't spray anything in it so that we can go more magentas and really make it completely offset, but the red made sense.
Yeah.
The maw on this one, the other model didn't have anything that I really thought, that maybe the bow and some of the other things didn't need any paint on, but they're so little finicky bits that it didn't matter. This one with the maw is a totally different thing, right? It's the inside of the body is going to be totally different than the outside.
Yeah.
So.
Are you going to airbrush a lot of that one too?
No.
That's more paint?
Yeah, because there's a lot of organic edges here.
Yeah.
So airbrushing that we could, and then tie it together. We could airbrush like the first coat in there, and then tie it all together around the gums, because the color could come out around the gums, which would be kind of cool and blend into all of the stuff that we're doing here. So there's a world where we could do some more work there.
Yeah, that overall blue is super, super nice.
Yeah, you can see it where I've laid it into the areas here for the shadow, right? That it brings out that punch on the jade. I really like that. That's looking good. I like it a lot. I think that's good for that. Put it on here. That's the whole reason I brought this damn cork out here, so I didn't have to set it down on the table and bang its legs on stuff, right? On this, where we did it with the brush, you get the same blue, but you get a little bit more shadow on the smaller detailing here that the airbrush tends to fill in. This one's got big enough detailing that we get more of the contrast built into the muscles just because the model's bigger.
Yeah.
On a smaller model, using the brush to brush it on, we'll get it to act more like a wash, right?
Yep.
So, get a little bit darker. I like it, though. Ta-da! Pretty nice.
And Carl Duty, this is the Consumption Beast from Conquest. It is from the Spires. Sarge says, I'm painting City-State's army to look like marble statues coming to life. What would you do to get the marble effect painting-wise? Also, how would you soften the fine details of the model themselves to look more like statues?
So the big thing with statues is that you're going to have a very monochromatic color scheme, right? So the marbling is going to be difficult to do just because the detail areas you have are so small on them. So, you know, getting a guy like this to look like he's a statue is going to be less about making it feel like marble, although you could get a crack across the folds here and make it, you know, have that idea of it. Doing a crack across the front of the shield is going to be a lot harder, or veining across the front of the shield is going to be a lot harder because there's already a lot of detail there. It's already very busy visually. So adding any more visual busyness to it with more cracks and things like that is going to be tough. What you can do is much like this Old Dominion stuff we've been working on, right? If I can get any of them out of here, they're all funky shaped. Is just go with a very monochromatic color scheme, and using dry brushing as a tool for highlighting gives you that stone feel, right? Now, these are statues that are animated, but I don't know if they were originally in the story humans that were turned to ash and stone. They're being brought alive by the death ichor, right, that the god put upon the land. But, you know, you could do it like this and just paint them as a monochromatic stone. That's whatever color stone you choose. Sandstone, like this, is almost like slate, you know, not really a marble color, but, you know, do it like that and it will give the feel of being a statue, period. We painted Stormcast like that. You can paint Space Marines like that. As long as you keep a very monochromatic feel, you can add in other colors because like granite and marble have other color through the veining and stuff. Slate, you know, has earth tones to it. So you can add other colors, but you just keep it fairly monochromatic, right? These are models that we bought from a guy off of Facebook, and so you'd already put like a maybe it's a Reichland flesh shade wash on here or something, so it has like that brownish red staining on it, and then I just dry brushed over it to kind of blend and hide all that, and it works great. So you don't have to do a whole lot, and your whole army can look like stone very quickly.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Because these are all, you know, they're all the same. This is where it started, right? Like this. This is how we got them sent to us. Now, he was really good, and he actually used a royal purple shadow, which makes it great. So it still gives it some depth, because a monochromatic stone color scheme can really be boring, but the fact that it has some purple in the shadows, you know, makes it a lot better. So if you can do something creative like that, dark blue, dark purple, something, and then do your stone color over the top, then they can all look like statues. And you can feel like this even looks like this, the skulls
could be
are part of the statue, right? It's all stone here. Now, when we changed it, we went in and picked all those bits out and painted the skulls and the OSL on it and things like that to be metal and whatever. But you could have this all be reimagined as all stone, like it was all some big walking statue. Up to you. But it's the monochromatic color scheme that makes that work, not necessarily doing any of the special effects for marbling. That works better on flat surfaces where you can tell a story.
Speaking of boring, welcome in, Chris. Whoa!
What? Rude. Rude. Yeah, Tim says like the dryer sheet thing if you want to do the effects. But remember, on busy models, I do not recommend that. The dryer sheet thing is great on flat surfaces because you're going to put a lot of visual detailing with the marbling. And if it already has a lot of visual detailing, they get lost and it looks like a train wreck. So I would not recommend doing the dryer sheet over models with a lot of detail.
Okay.
No. If they have flat shields, you can do the marbling on the shields. If they have, but I mean, you know, like I said, these guys don't have flat shields. They have, look at that. Look at how much nonsense is going on that shield. If you pull a dryer sheet on that and expected it to look like anything, no, because the three-dimensional detail on that is already going to overwhelm anything you do.
Yeah.
That's why I say you could do like a crack here. You could actually take and do physical stuff that might be cooler. You could take your hobby knife and indent a crack across the cut a little area through the plastic and gnaw it out and then paint it monochromatic and then highlight that crack so it actually has a crack in it. So you can do some things like that where you physically mar with crack lines, but you got to be very careful because you're scribing through multiple layers of stuff. But there's so much detail on these guys, I don't think that the marbling is going to look real good
Yeah.
This is a character, but even the normal guys are really detailed.
Right.
You know, you can imagine doing marbling on this.
Ooh, yeah.
What would it even look like on the cloak, maybe?
Yeah.
But I don't even think it's worth it. Right at that point in time, I think just painting some cracks and highlights and things like that would be your best bet. It does a number. You can make things look like terracotta warriors just by painting them like terracotta warriors in color.
Yeah.
People get it. They get that if there's no color differentiation between what they know is leather and boots and cloth and all that, that it's something else. Right. It's stone. It's whatever, right?
We will talk about me doing non-metallic metal. This week we're doing the Consumption Beast because we're giving away...
Consumer Beast!
Consumption Beast.
It's the Consumer Beast. I love this color. My cool. Spires are all going to be this color. And we're doing it for, all of them. I don't know what the next step is the problem, right? I don't know where we go from here.
Do the mouth. What about the mouth?
Well, I'm going to start with the mouth, yeah, but I don't know what else we're going to do here. I don't know what other colors I want to do, because it can't just be like this. I have to have, like, the armor plates and things. I have to shift some color. So whether we do the armor plates as kind of a black or something like that, we got to figure that out.
Would you do more airbrushing on the other stuff, or no? Not really.
Usually not.
Yeah.
Right. Until later.
Right.
I would start going in and cutting in the various materials in the colors I want them. And then I might do airbrushing to blend those later. Because you're either spending a ton of time masking areas. Yeah. You can imagine if you want to do these plates in some color other than this body color, which I do. I want to do this back armor plating in another color.
Yeah.
Right?
You're going to have to do some
So masking. How would you mask that off?
No, it'd be a pain.
You're either going to get overspray onto this, which is not going to be pleasant to dry up, or you're going to cut in the edges so close that you don't get overspray, and then you have to brush the edges anyway.
Yeah.
Which is easy if you're doing some patterning and texturing and things, you can get away with that, but I don't think that's what I'm trying to do here. I like the idea of all of the flesh being this kind of color, and then the mouth will be this big gaping magenta maw kind of thing.
Ooh,
I would
like to see that.
So I think because we have the red oxide, I think the next, color in the mouth might be good to do like just purple.
The next color in the mouth?
Yeah, it might just be to do purple.
Okay.
Purple.
Just straight purple.
Straight purple.
Okay.
And we will airbrush that. I need to clean this wash out. So we might need to have you go dump this real quick.
Yeah. I was about to say that thing's getting pretty full.
Yeah.
While I dump that out, you can answer Little Billy's question.
When Never you think in a million years. I don't talk to that guy because he's mean to my friend Chris.
Hey, yeah. You know what, Little Billy?
I used to applaud Little Billy. Then he got mean again. Not happening. He's mean to my friend
Billy,
Chris.
I'm going to delete this message.
The one where he asked a real question?
Yes. When you think of a coral reef, what colors do you imagine?
Well, I don't know. Believe it or not, coral reef for me is kind of like a pale yellow, ivory, pale yellow.
Uh-huh. Here,
right?
let me go.
I have never been anywhere where there was a coral reef that was like red or red coral or ruby coral or anything like that. I've only been to coral reefs in Australia and Hawaii, where it's literally just dirty white. Right? Well, dirty yellowish white, brownish white. That's what I think of it as. I don't know if that means it's dead. I don't know anything about coral reefs, so thank you. But yeah, that's what I think is like, maybe I would maybe even start with, you could do something really cool, like starting with a red oxide primer, and then you could do like khaki ivory over the top of that, and get that kind of yellowish white, but have a red underbelly to it. Because I've seen people paint coral that way. I don't think I've ever seen it in front of my face that way. I don't remember it if it was. Where Jason goes, it's dead all over. Have you seen the technique for painting organic alien surfaces using super glue?
Oh, I've seen that's very trendy.
Well, I don't know that it's very trendy. Some guy made a video about it. It's been around for a while. It's a really good way to mess your models up.
I've seen it, that webbing effect or whatever.
It is much better. What that guy showed you, if you're thinking of the same video where he put super glue on everything and then took isopropyl alcohol and rubbed the super glue again to make it go into weird shapes, it's better to paint super glue directly onto your model in the shapes. so that you are not rubbing your model with isopropyl alcohol and tearing all the paint off. Because I guarantee you will tear paint down to its surface. And it might have given a cool nurgly thing, but I don't ever like techniques that are only good for one thing. You can definitely paint texture on your model with a thin brush and water down super glue, though not water, because water will make it cure, right? But that super thin, watery super glue, and you just paint it on, and you can paint like marbling on there, and it'll give it a texture, and then you can paint over your model. I always do that at the primer level, right, or on the bare plastic, and then prime over it. I don't do anything like that when my model's painted. Your mileage may vary. I think it's silly, because you will ruin way more models than you get anything good out of.
Well, if you do it too hard, or if there's too much room for error.
Yeah, now if you gloss varnish the crap out of your model, then you layer it with super glue, and then you go back in and rub it, it's just like any kind of oil effect or whatever. But basically, it's removing the super glue's cured state, and over time, when you go and touch that model, it will break off. It will get brittle over time, and it will come off.
Okay.
It'll crystalline over time and break off, because you're changing its adhesion properties when you do that. So, looks good, not very long lasting. I would stay away from it.
All right, so we're going to purple.
But you can, on the other hand, paint with super glue, and it will give a dimension to it immediately. Or you can do it with all sorts of glues. You can do it with the problem with it is that super glue will be the toughest if you paint it on in a texture, or even stipple it on. Right? We used to stipple super glue on to give a texture like pocked metal. You can paint it on in weird textures, because then it has full adhesion and it still gives you a dimension, right? Paint it on, hit it with the fixative very quick is the key. You have to paint it on, hit it with fixative, because as soon as you hit it with a fixative, it turns into a solid surface and it cures, doesn't go and lay flat. So paint it on, hit it with the fixative. Paint some more on, hit it with a fixative. Wipe it off, because if it does wet fixative and you put super glue on it, it'll turn into like a glob. But you can play with that a lot more, and then when it's on there, it's on there. And then you paint over it, and then it never comes off. Like, literally never comes off.
Nice.
Yeah, I've used that in the scale modeling world for all sorts of stuff, like drips. You can paint a drip down the side of something on a tank, and then hit it with a fixative, and now you have a literal physical droplet moving down the side of the tank. Then you prime it and everything else, paint it like normal, but you always have that ridge, and then you go back and paint it whatever color you want to last. Works great. Bleached coral is no bueno. White means they're dead. Yeah, I don't know. The reef at Hanauma Bay is a whitish reef, grayish, whitish. It's probably a different color down deep, right? But I don't know.
All right. So you're just going straight purple, Jason.
Purple.
Purple. I want to see how this goes. I'm very excited.
Straight purple. No thinning.
I'm keeping Jason on task today.
No thinning.
You like that? Oh. Gandalf.
Purple. Gandalf. I like how it's where the accent goes in his name as to what you're thinking. Gandalf. Gandalf.
What are runes? What are moon letters? Oh, that's gonna look nice. I like this workup. That's right, Lumberjack. Chris trying to keep this business fun time paint stream. That is correct, sir. I am keeping him on task. You're welcome. Oh, purpley. The sound it's making. It's making some kind of sound, that's for sure.
So for this kind of stuff, you got to work in close or you get overspray on everything.
Yeah. Sorry, I got to stop this because every time I see this thing, when you put it up, it just It's just silly. So why did you go with purple here, Jason?
Why not?
There you go. Never mind.
Aye.
Oh. Well, that's why. Because why not? Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper. Make sure to use purple.
How did that sound go again, Chris? Something like that. I don't know.
Let me talk to you about the solar panels.
Solar panels. Hey, this is a great segue into my next bit about making sure your hygiene is good, chat. Make sure you're brushing your teeth. And that's it. That's all I got for you.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. I was just thinking about how does this fool brush his teeth? And I realized he probably doesn't do that because he eats things that are not. I don't
think he's worried about brushing his teeth.
Yeah, he ain't worried about that at all.
Either that or he has a whole bunch of dudes that come on and do it for him.
Carl Moore says, the hobby focuses a lot on painting, and that's not a bad thing, but there isn't a lot of love for sculptors. Are there any sculptors you've come across that would you recommend?
We didn't talk about the sculptor. I mean, I guess I hear you from the standpoint of like the models that we look at the most don't really talk about who sculpts them. I mean, with Conquest, they have Michael Contreras who does all their giants. He's done some of the special models that they put out, the Artisan series stuff, and those are really cool. So there is that. This mouth opens up and the maw kind of comes out onto these mandibles. So pop in close.
Yeah.
Because we're going to feather the purple out into the green here. See where my line is? There's no hard line there. So I'm going to just kind of...
Yeah. Okay, so you're just blending it.
Yeah, just blend it out into that.
Hey, that's cool. I like that. Oh, yeah.
Something over there. Right.
Purple.
Like so.
I guess that's kind of the best way to do that, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you got the airbrush and you're doing it this way, then why not? And that's kind of it.
That thing is wild. It looks so good, though, now that you've separated it.
We can, the maw?
Yeah, it just it really
pops out. That's why I chose purple, because it would go really good with this, and we have this kind of greenish yellow. So I'm getting really close, and I'm going to, popping close?
Yeah.
I'm going to try to follow along the ridge of the gum here. See, again, this comes out, and it kind of has a seam.
Yeah.
But I don't want to paint to that seam entirely. I want to kind of see if we can blend along the tooth line. So I'm going to just pull back again, riding that paint, no paint line here. Do I have paint? There we go.
I'm going to zoom out just a touch. There we go. So you're just feathering the gum?
Yeah, I just want to kind of... It's not spraying where I want it to. There we go.
I Am Fatty says, hey there, have never heard of Conquest, but your video just popped up. Can you give the TLDR of the lore and how the game is played?
So it is a rank and flank. Well, there's two versions of it, right? There's a skirmish version called First Blood.
Right.
That they're doing the 2.0 rules for right now, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we won't know until this month, I think they're this month, that the 2.0 rules and what ultimately that entails. But that's done with all the same exact models as the rank and flank one. But yeah, it's a rank and flank rank and flank fantasy game, meaning that everything comes regimented up on square bases. Hang on a second, let me get this detail stuff done, and then we'll break out and talk fun stuff real quick.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, yeah, I can see how you're doing that now.
Right.
The gum is really getting defined.
Yeah, I just kind of want it to blend out a little bit. Just kind of feather it a little. It was a little hot on that one area because my paintbrush, for some reason, is not wanting to play here, but that's pretty good.
Can you come down a little? Perfect. Oh, yeah.
Now it kind of blends out. Using the airbrush to blend it out just a bit, although this line is a little bit... That'll set us up to where we can use some wash and some magenta and stuff to blend that in, but that's pretty good. I like it. All right, purple maw.
Purple maw.
No overspray that I can see. Can't see it from the cheap seat, so it must be good.
Yeah, from there it's looking great.
Okay, so it's a rank and flank game made by a company called Parabellum. It is. I do not have any history playing it. I'm just in love with the models. We have all but one army for it here. I'm having an absolute blast painting them. I reached out to Parabellum, got in touch with their, I think, chief VP, and he was more than happy to reach out. We're going to be giving this model that you see me painting away this week. So Parabellum will be sending one lucky winner a Consumption Beast, about a $150 model. And it's amazing. And
it's super cool.
They've got, I think, 10 or 11 factions. All of the factions are very, very different. The lore is really cool. The planet is called Ea. EA is the name.
Really?
Yeah, the planet is EA. They pronounce it Ea, or everything that I hear about it's called Ea.
Huh.
The Spires, this faction that we're painting here, are actually aliens from another world that came to Ea because their planet got overrun by some enemy yet to be named. And so these are the survivors of losing their planet, and they're brooding and want to go back. Some of them want to go back and take their planet. Some of them are like, screw that. We found this place. Let's stay here. So they have divided factions. They've got the Spires and the Weaver Court so far, and I think there's another one that they don't have models for. So they are biomancers, a race of spacefaring biomancers. And biomancy is a thing they can do where they can take organic matter and twist it to their whim. So their magic is being able to craft things out of biomaterial. So they have these huge constructs that are made out of flesh and bits and things. Then the Weaver Courts, the other part of their faction, take their biomancy and do it with nature. So they do like trees and plants and bugs and things like that, rather than taking carcasses of the dead, to my knowledge. And we just last week started painting up one of them, which is a tree-esque. Think of it as your wood elf faction, right? So we started doing one of the big brutes for the Weaver Courts. Super cool. But all of their models have such good personality and definition. They have really, really cool lines. They're not very boring to look at. Even their foot troops are really cool.
Yeah.
But all of the foot troops go in regiments. Can I get this out here? You can see like brutes, the equivalent of dreadnoughts in this game, go on round bases, but I glued them into the square ones. They go on square bases, and you would get like, you know, a group of 3 that would line up in a regiment like this.
Yep.
So that it has facing. It has a forward arc, a side, and a rear arc, and you can get charged into those arcs, and if you get charged in the side or the rear, you lose any shield capability you have. Your shield is only effective towards the front. And defense and ability to save wounds and stuff changes as to where you charge a unit. So if you've ever played a rank and flank style game like Old World Fantasy Warhammer,
yeah,
the neat thing is that it becomes very tactical on the game board, because how you maneuver your units is everything. A lot of the units are capable of taking out bigger units and stuff. Power level is pretty even across the board. It's not vanilla. There are units that are very terrifying and units that are not terrifying. But they all have the ability to, maybe a unit that's not very scary buffs, and so you want to keep it safe. And then the other ones are fast, so they can get around to the flanks like cavalry and charge into your flank. And so you're trying to wheel around the board and get maneuverability, and placement of your units is huge. More so than just stand back and just shoot, because I have a ton of shooting. There's not an army in the game that's just going to stand there and shoot you like Tau or something like that. So it's really fun. And there's a bunch of stuff. The city states, which is kind of like a Greco-Roman
Yeah.
type of thing. These are from the Yoroni, which is a Japanese demon centered army. All of their units are big. They don't have any small troops like this yet. They're all big.
Those paper knights I actually really like. Those
they've got really
warriors.
cool stuff that are from like Oni and historic stuff. My favorite is a big floaty, like a gigantic floaty suit of samurai armor.
Yeah, that's always classic looking.
Just a empty suit of armor that's animated that'll whoop your ass. So they've got all sorts of really cool stuff. But what got me into it was the Yoroni, and they have a big spider.
Oh, this is what started it all.
Yeah, this is what started it all. Is that I was looking at the internet and they have this. I've paid attention to Conquest since it came out like 6-7 years ago, but none of the factions really appealed to me.
Yeah.
But the Yoroni have got like these geishas sit on top of the spider, and I was like, geishas on a spider, sign me up. What's that? And it was Conquest, and I was like, holy cow, I ought to look at this game again. And in the last few years, they've just really upped their game, no pun intended. With great sculpts, cool ideas, neat visuals, stuff like this. This consumption beast we're painting is just a really cool, crazy amalgam of parts. But then they also have stuff like Inquisitors, like we painted up. That's this crazy animated, flesh golem type guy with Wolverine claws, or I guess it's saber-tooth claws.
Something.
He's naked.
And naked.
Scraps is a boy dog. But yeah, it's really cool. I love it. I would recommend it. I don't have any skin in that game. They have decided to help us with the giveaway this week with giving away one of these consumption beasts. But other than that, we're not affiliated with them at all. They just make really cool models. I think, unfortunately, when you look at the website, a lot of the models are not painted in a way that do them great justice. That's not being... I hope I'm not sounding cruel to the people that painted them. That's not my goal. But as a company, some of the models, when you look at them, they don't tell the whole story you want the model to tell. When you get them in your hands, they're awesome.
They're very cool.
Even the old sculpts are awesome. Loving them. So every model that we've gotten so far has just been a blast. The old, the new, they're really fun to paint. They've got some really cool designs, some really neat, unique kind of views of things that before I just kind of poo-pooed. I was like, well, it doesn't really intrigue me. And then you get them under the brush and you're like, yeah, this is like a walking mausoleum.
Yeah.
And it's super cool. So... like I said, we're all in. We have bought every single army except for the Spires, which they sent us.
Yeah.
And then we bought more models to fill it out. Don't tell Chris that, though.
You bought more models?
No, that never would happen. Why would I do such a thing?
Look at this exclusive one they're coming out with.
Yeah, that we got to get. That we have to get. Because I have to paint that.
It's pretty cool.
It's amazing.
I wonder if they'll... heck, that one, he's... very interesting. Oh, it's an exclusive. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so there you go. And there's mini boxes over there. So
but the nice thing is, like, even this big monstrosity that's more like a Titan, as far as, like, when you scale it into 40K speak, you've got knights, dreadnoughts, foot troops. And foot troops have Terminators and whatever else. So if you look at Space Marines, this is the equivalent of like a knight. These are their monstrosities. And you can take monstrosities in any army. They all have them.
Yep.
Whether it's big giants or monster spiders or whatever this thing is. And it's dragons. So they've got really cool stuff. And in the skirmish game, every model you buy is playable, even the monsters. So you can take this guy in a skirmish game. So, and the skirmish game uses a lot less models and uses the round bases. Although I'm sure you can play it with the square bases too, because I've glued a bunch of mine into square bases, so is what it is.
Thank you for the information. I appreciate it. I am Vatty.
Yeah. I don't know if I really, we know a lot of people have started buying their models to paint them, if nothing else, because they've got really great models to paint.
Tell them we sent you.
Yeah, tell them.
When you do the notes. Because we have been enjoying it. We want to see games that have good models thrive, right? I mean, these are very cool.
That's the thing, right? Is I always love supporting creators that create cool stuff.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, their models are awesome.
This is
and the
cool
storyline,
stuff.
I started looking into the factions at the storyline, and there's some really cool stuff. The dwarves. So the dwarves were created by the race in the lore, a race of dragons. The dragons were also interstellar beings. They could surf across or fly across space.
Interesting.
So they're different than just fantasy dragons. The biggest and boldest of the dragons could fly into space.
Interesting.
So it has not that it has sci-fi, but it's kind of a weird sci-fi fantasy mix. The dwarves were created. The dragons fought a battle with the Spires. The battle was going poorly. I think for the Spires, but they called a truce. And in the truce, the dragons demanded the Spires teach them how to do their biomancy. So now the dragons have the power of biomancy, and they made the race of dwarves to be their slaves, to do their bidding. because the dragons, as they got generationally older and older and older, the younger and younger dragons were losing a lot of their power. Like they can't fly between planets anymore. Only the old ones can. So the newer dragons couldn't. So they made the dwarves to be their race of slaves. The dwarves, of course, rose up and broke their chains of slavery, and now have enslaved some of the smaller dragons to do their bidding. So this is the dwarves.
Interesting.
And the dwarves have these little drakes that they ride into battle, which is their monsters. So there's all sorts of really cool stuff in the storyline that I think is fun.
Interesting.
These fun twists on things that you have in like your standard, elf versus dwarves versus humans versus orcs kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I haven't read the lore of the orcs because I'm not a big fan of the orc models.
Well,
in this
Jason,
game.
I mean,
because I don't like dinosaurs, which I know is stupid. A lot of you love dinosaurs. Go look at their orcs because their orcs ride dinosaurs. Their monsters are orcs on brontosauruses, like called the drum beast. They play their war drums on a brontosaurus, and then the other one is a T-Rex.
Jason, we're so deep anyway, we might as well.
They're cavalry. You can if you want them. I'm not buying them. The orcs on raptors are their cavalry. And they're really called? That part is cool. I just don't like it. It doesn't make me want to paint it. But the big Artisan series T-Rex model is bitchin'.
The big Artisan T-Rex?
Yeah, it's their big.
The drum beast. I see that.
They have a particular one that's the alpha whatever. That's the T-Rex one is really cool. How can you not like dinosaurs? They just don't appeal to me for painting. I don't know why.
This one?
Just don't. Yeah, that one. That's so good. Holy, that model makes me want to paint it.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is really cool.
Feathery dragons, which I kind of like.
I don't like the jungle feel of the whole thing. I never liked savage orcs with the jungly stuff to them.
Yeah,
it's just I don't know. It's not a thing I like.
Yeah, you've
I like
mentioned
Aztec,
before.
like full on Aztec looking stuff where it's warriors, like with an Aztec vibe, but without all the feathers and stuff. I don't know. It's just not. It's like pirates. It doesn't make me want to paint them. I don't like pirates. It's not like a clown weirdness that I can't. Like I'm afraid of it or anything.
You're just not into it.
I'm not into it. It doesn't appeal to me.
Like
usually Vikings don't, but the Nords are pretty cool in this, right? Because they have werewolves or werewolves.
Yeah.
So the werewolves and the giants I'm really into in the Nords. The normal Viking dudes I could care less, but
yeah. I mean, I'm into that kind of stuff to where it's like I don't think I'll ever see myself painting like Eldar. I just can't get into that.
Yeah, I'm
right?
gig.
I would get it.
Well, I mean, I think for me, everybody always asks, or a lot of people always ask me when they come in here, what is my favorite type of model to paint? And for me, it is generally going to be fantasy models, because fantasy models have more textures, more materials, more differentiation model to model. In general, there are some, the old Warhammer dwarves were super samey. The goblins, the night goblins, super samey. So they can get boring. Yeah. Right? Night goblins are cool. The leaders and stuff are cool, but the rank and file troops were boring as hell. Yeah. It was a little dude with green arms and a nose sticking out of a cloak, and it was kind of a robe, and they were just samey. But that's the rank and file troops of lots of armies. They get samey. But fantasy typically has more detailing that I love, and something like this with Conquest is a different fantasy. It has different stuff. It's not I cast fireball. It's not roll a bunch of magic dice. Yeah. It's that the way it goes, the way the game plays. I've watched a lot of the battle reports. Has a really cool I go, you go alternating. I don't know what to call it. I go, you go typically means that I do my whole army, you do your whole army. So it has an alternating activation thing done by cards. Each unit comes with a card. As your units come on the board, you put their card into your hand, and your hand can be however many units you have. And then before the start of every turn, you put your deck into the order you want to activate. So the top card on your deck is the first unit you want to activate. And because leaders can't activate until they do with their unit, but the leader has a card in there, you can rope-a-dope a little. You can pull the card for your leader who's in a regiment of normal foot troops, and you can't do anything with it. But now it means that you could basically stall and make your opponent go. You don't have to move anything because you can line your deck with lots of pauses with units that you can't do anything with. And so it has a fun thing like that. And it's a back and forth. Like, I don't know what order you put yours in. I might assume you're going to move this big unit because I put a juicy charge target out there, and you choose not to, and it can ruin my whole game plan. You can move with something else and totally mess up my thing, or move with something else, and then it's a gotcha for me. I'm like, haha, he didn't do it. And then I get to charge you. So
I'm just looking at some of these models. They're very interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, I have no skin in this game. If they go make $1 bajillion, I make none of it. So tell them I sent you, and be nice to Monument Hobbies.
Yes.
Tell them to send us a whole Ark army, and we'll let Chris paint it.
The Drum Beast, I could get behind this Drum Beast thing.
Yeah, I mean the Raptor Riders are all cool. It doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
None of them, when I look at them right now,
yeah.
and I always reserve the right to change my tune. Right.
That's true.
I always reserve the right to change my tune. You could be a year from now, you could be like, hey, I thought you didn't like dinosaurs. And I'm like, these models are rad.
I'm dinosaurs.
You never know.
Dinosaurs.
You never know.
All right. I'm looking at models. Chris gets the army Jason doesn't want. Have Jason and you all seen the Loot Studios Malediction game? No.
Yeah, I met with them a couple of years back, and they showed me some of that.
Malediction. Consumer Beast. Oh, Consumer Beast.
All right, so now I probably want to what?
Is it more...
I can't get the airbrush in there to do a whole lot more with this because I need to be able to airbrush brighter colors down like this.
Yeah.
But I can't get in the overhang of the mouth. So it's more of a paintbrush thing, I think.
That's fine. I just wanted to... I think we've done a lot of good airbrushing tips today.
Yeah.
So hopefully you all have enjoyed it.
Yeah. You know what I do want to do is I want to take and do some purple transparent up in there with the airbrush.
Oh.
For some shadowing.
Now, what do you do when you use transparents through your airbrush? What is your typical mix? This is something I always need to remind myself. Like, what's your ratio for...
Well, let's mix some with the purple. You know, with the purple shadow, the transparents come out super vibrant. So if you just spray them straight, you're going to get freaking purple.
Yeah.
Right? And you can maybe you want freaking purple.
Yeah.
But if you don't want freaking purple, and I have to think here for a second, do I want freaking purple or do I want blue?
Oh. Gandalf.
I think I want freaking purple because we'll do a wash later on of the Payne's Gray.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I think we want purple.
Ooh.
So it's super vibrant coloring. So you have to be careful. Yes, they're see-through, but they're super punchy, right? So if I were to take this and just put it a little bit on a brush and paint it over the tattoo I have, that's freaking violet. Like that's single pigment violet, right? That's purple. Like it doesn't get like, where did everything go? Yeah. Now I can still see the outline of my tattoo in there, but it's now purple. Yep. It didn't inherit any of the color beneath it, right? So you have to be careful when doing that because if you just take it and spray it, oh, well, your model's purple now.
I was just about to say, I've done this before.
Yeah.
Where I thought I thinned it enough and I'm like, oh, it's not thin.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to be careful with it. You want to, that's why I always say with any paint when doing a filter or having expectation of a filter, you want to over thin it and work it back up. It's just too simple not to. Why would you ever try to get it done in the first pass? Because when filtering, you could ruin every paint layer you've already done, and that's too risky. That's what filtering is. It's putting paint over paint you've already finished. Doesn't matter if the model's finished. I finished putting that last color on there, and now I'm about to put another color over it, and I want to see them together. And so every filter you do has a chance to ruin the base beneath it if it's too bright, too opaque. So over thin it, and then do 2 layers of it, because that second layer might bring the opacity you want. You get to constantly judge. So we'll take the transparent purple, right? Yep. We'll do about 1-to-1 with glaze wash medium. And then what I really want is a big squirt of agua in there. So about 1-to-1-to-1, let's call it. Okay? Because I want the purple to be a rich, dark purple for shadows on this. So I can spray it really quickly. But now you'll see that the opacity has dipped way down.
Yep.
Right. Now you can see it. You can see the green through it now. Also wipes off easier. So 1-to-1-to-1, and you're probably good. Or 2-to-1 water to transparent works just as well. Into the Airbrushing. And this is a shadow, so what I'm looking to do is hit it from up underneath. Right? I want to zoom in a little closer.
Yeah, let me... How does that look?
Yeah. And then I'll just kind of pulse it on here.
Noob says, I've seen in the guide for airbrushing tanks, but I'm also curious on thinning them down. Okay, we're talking about paints in general. I remember you said you had a gripe with milk consistency, but I'm genuinely curious, what are you thinking for as we're mixing paint / thinning it, or thinner?
For me, it's never a visual consistency because every paint starts from a different spot, right?
Yeah.
It's the opacity test that does everything for you.
Okay.
That's really it. The opacity check on a model or your hand, like I do it, or whatever. That's why we joke and say, go get a hand tattoo. I just want to darken the middle of the tongue. And the tongue as it goes in the back. Because remember, that's why I've always said, like, hey, to sit here and try to tell you that there's some consistency of milk that you're looking for, makes no sense. Because is it whole milk, skim milk? What are you talking about? And at that point in time, where did the paint start from? Because if you just go for a viscosity, which is what you're talking about,
right,
when you say consistency, when you go for a viscosity, a fluidness of milk on a color that started super thick, by the time it gets to milk consistency, it's see-through. Like completely see-through. Is that going to do the job you need it to do? I don't know. Whereas a paint like Pro-Acryl that flows a little bit better straight out of the gates, if you thin it to milk consistency, maybe it's fine. So does that make sense? Is that right? So what you're really looking for is opacity, right? If you're saying, okay, well, I want it to be an opaque color that flows out of my airbrush, don't thin it. And then figure out how you can work with your particular airbrush to make sure that it will not wind up gumming up too bad. That scared me because the
what's that?
The poster tack underneath my finger stuck to it, and I thought I was tearing paint off.
Oh, yikes!
So I'm not worried about consistency ever. I'm worried about the opacity, and so I thin until it has the opacity I want. And then, like I said, if I spray straight from the bottle, if I'm looking for, complete opaque color, it's that easy for me. I don't know that there's much more that you have to worry about. If you're dealing with very thick paints, then there's a real worry for you about, oh, it's too thick to spray right out of the bottle. And that part I understand. I'm not trying to discount that at all. And at that point in time, 1-to-1 is the place I always tell people to start. 1-to-1, whatever thinner you've chosen. Do it 50-50 and test opacity. See if it's too thin, right? Is it going to be see-through at 1-to-1? Then add a little bit more paint. Because every paint is going to need a different ratio of mixing at the end of the day to achieve what you want it to achieve. You've seen me with our paints. Until I get into doing things like filters, I just put it right out of the paint pot into the airbrush and spray it. Now, I'm not spraying an entire army when I do that. So there's a reality of, if you're spraying 100 models, that might not work. The paint might tip dry and cause you all sorts of clogs if you don't thin it at all. So that's why I say, 50-50 flow improver, or whatever thinner you choose, water to paint, is a good place to start. So just 1-to-1. For most paints, that won't knock your opacity down to where it's like a wash or a glaze too badly. It'll still let it have some punch, but it'll need you to layer it up. You'll need to do 2 layers instead of 1 in most cases when you thin it all.
Lapton Live says, the fundamental technique I have the most trouble with is edge highlighting.
Yep.
I've seen the guide on YouTube. Could you elaborate on the dilution you're looking for when edge highlighting, and if you tend to prefer a specific brush to do so or not?
Yeah, great question. I think that the thing that I look for, let's start with the last part first, the brush. The brush that I'm looking for is just nice and tight bristles, meaning that it doesn't have any stray bristles, right? I've got this older number 5 Dauntless here.
Yeah.
And this old number 5 Dauntless once you start using it, has got some bristles that, split off to the side, because I typically am edge highlighting with the side of the brush, right? If you've watched the video where I talk about it, you're typically using the side of the tip or the side of the belly to do most of your painting. And in order for that to work, you have to make sure that the bristles are nice and tight and structured good. So it makes a good smooth belly, right? So when I'm going in with, say, these number 3s that I've been using on my sables are really nice and tight, right? They got a nice smooth outside. There's no extra stray hairs, nothing like that. And so when I want to go do an edge highlight, where can I do one real quick? Let's do something on this guy. Right? So if I want to go in and do something on this guy real quick, with, say, maybe I'm not ready to make that decision yet. Let's find another model where I am ready to make the decision. Well, this guy, I haven't quite finished all of them, right? So if we go in, because this is all beige red, plain and simple. So how to thin consistency of paint for edge highlighting is that you want the paint to be more opaque, because edges are, if you go over the edge a bunch of times, it thickens the edge up. And a lot of times you might be looking for a very thin highlight. So you want it opaque so that you only have to hit it once where necessary, and then layer up where you want to make it thicker, okay? But in order to get it to lay a thin line, that doesn't necessarily mean opaque, because you're going to have to thin it a little bit. So I get water on my brush, again, as always. I don't know if you can tell.
Yeah.
This is as much water as this brush will hold.
Yeah.
Right? So if I were to hit my thumbnail, it's going to leave a droplet. Tons of water on there. And then I wipe it on the paper towel 2 or 3 times. Come over here and load it up with some paint. Right?
Yep.
Then I'm going to take the paint and use it on my finger just enough, get enough of it off there to pull to a nice point. Right? And then I'm going to come over here where I've already let's pick an area where I don't have a good edge highlight yet. Well, maybe I did do them all on here, huh? Where can we do one here? Like right in here, right? So
I'm going to zoom in a little bit.
Yeah, please do. Right, so let's catch this back edge right in here, right? So I want to make sure that my brighter edge will be right here at this little corner, right?
Yeah.
Bump. But I want to highlight it from back here. So I'll take my brush and I just kind of lightly want to use the side of the brush to generate a line that I then pull down, and then I press a little bit harder at the end here to thicken the line up. Boom. And now I have a line that was thicker towards my brightest edge and then thinned out up here. So that's how I do it. I just need to make sure that the paint flows off the brush pretty well, but I don't need a lot of paint. So finding that area is tough, because if you over thin it, when you hit the edge, it's going to be a lot of paint coming out. So I don't want that. I want to get rid of most of it, kind of like I would with a glaze, but it's much more opaque paint. So in that same pull, I can make sure I can do a really thin line.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, you can't really see that because it's my skin color.
It's a little tough to see, but
right?
I
but
think
a thin line versus a thick line, right? Because I can get in here and I can pull a very thin line of paint now, which is going to allow me to do a very nice thin edge, as opposed to if the paint's too thin, it's just going to start spilling out and be a much thicker.
Yeah.
And then when you're edge highlighting, it starts looking like, like Tron, like the edges of the suit are all lit up. So that's the big key. That's the big key. As far as consistency, again, it's that every paint is different question. If you're using Pro Acryl, then it's just a little bit of moisture on your brush, not much at all. If you're using a much thicker paint, you might find yourself needing to use more water on your brush, or to actually thin the paint first. I don't ever actively thin my paint when I'm painting with the brush unless I'm glazing or filtering.
Yeah.
I just don't, right? Or wash. I'm always just using the moisture on my brush 100% of the time. All right. I think I still have air, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I think I can take some magenta here.
Would you do magenta wash?
No, I'm just going to use magenta with the airbrush real quick.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, all right.
I'm going to use magenta with the airbrush, and I'm not going to thin it. Right?
Oh, boy.
Right, I'm not going to thin it. It's going to be real intense, but I'm not going to thin it because I want to make sure that I get a burst of color. I'm just not going to put a lot of it on there.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So the way this is going to work is, because I can't shoot and just get the shadows, I rely on the wash to do the shadows later. We got a little bit of water still in there, so that's good. Right? But I do want to get some. I've done the dark purple that I got from the transparent in between of the tongue there.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of want to get in here with the magenta and hit this area here that would be brighter with the magenta. And again, riding that fine line of paint, no paint, and just kind of bring it down the edge of the tongue here. Like so.
Yeah.
Right? And then hit that other side as well. That's going to be tough because I don't want to get overspray on anything.
Yeah.
Like that.
Nice.
Right? And then I'm going to see if I can't get lucky and get a little bit to go down this way without really messing up anything here. I'm going to get some.
Nice.
And then there. A little bit on this outside area.
Ooh. Okay.
A little bit on the gums. And then over on this side, I just want to go a little bit down on the inside of the mouth there. Something like that. So that I get a little bit of highlighting going on in there. That works pretty good.
Wow.
That's not a lot of paint. That's not worried about, getting a lot of color out of the airbrush on that one. Sometimes you mix paint that you don't use just because you need enough in the airbrush to have it spray right, but you're not planning on using that much. And you can't save it. It is a little wasteful, but so go our lives.
So Jason,
such are the days of our lives.
Such are the days.
We are, if nothing else, we are a great 2-hour soap opera every freaking day.
Soap opera?
Soap opera.
You think so?
Yeah.
There's crying, there's laughter, there's serious, there's
espionage, alien abductions,
espionage.
Lots and lots of cheating.
Cheating?
Oh, I mean, never.
What do you mean cheating, Jason?
Never would I cheat on you.
Explain cheating.
Oh, no. No, Henrietta never meant anything to me. You know that, Christopher.
Was it worth it?
Huh?
Was it worth it?
I won't have this discussion with you. You don't own me. Storms out, stage left.
I see.
We need to run this like a soap opera, I'm now convinced.
You can't ignore me, Dan!
You can't ignore me, Dan! Oh, hi, Mark.
Well, a soap opera. I could see that. Now, I see. I watch you guys. Sazzle says, I watch you guys pretty much every day. Lots of amnesia. Who's the father? Drama. Who is the father? That's a great question.
Lots of amnesia.
I haven't seen my dad in 27 years.
Abductions. A lot of dun 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 moments.
A lot of commercial breaks. We got to make sure there's commercial breaks for our sponsors.
Chris, but I thought you had died.
Da-da!
I wouldn't be with him if I thought you were still alive.
It was just a gag, I swear. Wow. Day 12, begging for red tutorial. Forsaken Painting. We have so many. What are you talking about?
We told you it's coming.
Red tutorial. Oh, you're talking about the cloak. We got to do one of those cloaks.
It's coming.
It's coming.
We got a lot of things in the hopper.
Keep showing up.
A lot of things in the hopper.
And when he means a lot of things, he means like a metric boatload of things in the hopper. I think we're going to have a full year between now and when we actually get to Adepticon.
Of content?
No, just a full year of stuff, yeah. Just from now until Adepticon, you guys.
We only have a table over there stacked, I don't know, a mile high of models that need to be built.
I'm slowly doing them.
Chris is doing like a unit a night, man.
Yeah,
Killing it.
We got to do your birds next, because I think the feathers
Burbs.
would be cool.
Burbs, that's Jen's favorite.
The feathers?
The burbs.
The burbs?
The burbs.
Oh, they're
The
cool.
big
Those are
big
cool.
6-winged bird for the Sorcerer Kings is amazing. That one's going to be good.
How do you...
So many monsters we have to paint. So little time.
Well, yeah. Is he priming them also? I was going to ask you, do you want me to... I plan on priming them.
Yeah.
Pre-prime them is what my plan was.
Yeah, I think having everything in black to start is fine.
But not zenithaling all of them.
No.
I will just prime them all black, though. What is a metric boatload? Americans will use anything before metric system. Well, that's
unless it's
saying.
a boatload.
So,
or an S-ton.
Jason, can you give us a recap of what this model is? What are we looking at?
Well, the airbrushing, I think, is done for the time being. And what we did is got some really nice blended base coats going. I had, over the weekend, tested a color scheme that I had kind of cranked out and thought about, which was done on this model.
Yep.
And I was really happy about it. So I was like, yep, bought in. So we started with red oxide as a base.
Right.
I'll bring the photos up again.
Yeah.
They tell such a great story. Who knew? Oh.
We don't want to get your password.
There.
Okay.
So we
Red oxide.
started with red oxide primer.
Yep.
Then over the red oxide, we did bright jade.
Yep.
And bright jade gives it that really ethereal effect, which, whenever we do this, one of the things we don't talk about enough is that you could stop at any of these steps and get a really, really cool base for something you wanted to do. Like this would be really cool for Night Haunt.
Yeah.
This would be really cool for ghosts or undead dudes or whatever, you vampire counts, right? You can make these, you can take an exit off the highway at any of these colors that you see me doing.
Yeah.
Right. Over the top of that, we did golden yellow. Right? And the gold, it was very weird for a second because that's my hand and this is my hand. So golden yellow over the top of that.
Yeah.
And then finally pale yellow over the top of that. And the pale yellow brings it back to where it desaturates a lot of that color, but still allows you to have that yellowish undertone, the bright jade, and then of course the red oxide in the shadows.
Yeah.
So a nice deep warm shadow, which we don't paint a lot with warm shadows. So I thought that would be really cool. As opposed to just dark purple. And then we did a blast of Payne's Gray in the shadow. So you'll see some of the bluishness from the Payne's Gray wash that we airbrushed on there. Mm-hmm. And that worked really well. More of that bluish on the shadow side.
Yep.
And so we've got a lot of really good definition. The details picked out really nicely. The only area I wasn't really concerned with was the back armor plates because we're going to paint those a contrasting color, probably like black, something like that. So that the bright skin really pops out. Yeah. And then we're gonna do all the detail work, right? Which is really teeth and maw, this crazy tongue coming out. So I've gotten as far as I can go, or that I want to go with the airbrush. I could go brighter and do some highlights with like pale pink and stuff, but that's not where I want to go. I want to go in here with the brush with magenta and the pink and things like that, and then do a Payne's Gray wash off the brush on top of that. So we will pick up a lot of that detailing and play around with, making it look kind of wet look and grimy and things like that. And of course, we have 5 million teeth.
And what about what'd you do in the mouth?
That was all done with. It started with the red oxide primer, of course.
Yep.
I did not paint any of the other skin colors that you see, the bright jades and stuff. I purposely left them out of the mouth, and on the inside of the mouth, we went straight to purple over the red oxide, and then we did magenta just now. So it's just airbrush of purple and then magenta over red oxide. So it's a very loud magenta. Oh, we did the transparent purple so that we could get some shadow in there. So you see the transparent purple darkened up like the underside of the tongue. Yeah. And stuff like that. So
there you go.
Simple. All work with the airbrush. Only a few of the colors were thinned. Most of it's no thinning. The pale yellow we thinned. And the... What else did we thin? the transparent purple, and the wash of Payne's Gray.
Heck, I'd probably noosh this whole thing. Vipus.
It'd be really hard to get to the small areas. Again, these are not the kind of models I like to noosh. I'm a tank guy when it comes to noosh, but you could. Definitely you could. You're going to wind up with a lot of the noosh color in a lot of areas that you might not want it because it's going to be very hard to get it out.
That's a good point.
Right?
There's like
this has a lot of areas that are really hard to get to. And
That's
so
a
if you were
good
to
point.
just slather the whole model with noosh, how are you going to get it out from under the underarm? And then it's going to have a huge staining effect there. So it could be really cool if you did it early and then help highlight back over it, which is cool with noosh that you can do that. But I would, I don't know. You could noosh some of the areas though. It'd be fun to see.
This is cool. Thank you, Jason.
So
hopefully you all
some fun
learned
airbrush
something from that.
On a consumer beast. The consumption beast. This model is so rad.
It is pretty cool.
I really didn't know I liked the oddities of the biological shapes, the kind of forms of crabs and lobster. Because they have a lot of that is kind of like that. It's spidery, but the skin and stuff is more lobster. And then, of course, it's like very insectoid on the tail, like a centipede or a caterpillar centipede thing.
Crab meets a centipede cockroach kind of deal.
Yeah, it's a really weird combo of crazy bios. It is very H.R. Geiger-ish. It is very, very H.R. Geiger. For sure.
Cool. Awesome. Jason, it's 4:02.
Why, thank you, Christopher. I had a wonderful time.
Oh, we're done.
We are finissimo.
That's true. The best hobby soap opera you've ever watched. Right here.
We expect Emmys. Is that what it is? Emmys?
Emmys? No, her name was Amelia.
We want Amelias. No, we want Emmys. We want to win an Emmy.
We want to win an Emmy?
Yeah.
Oh, we've done that. If there was Emmys for the best hobby stream.
How come there isn't? How do we get passed over?
How do we get passed over?
They give Kai, whatever his name is, the awards just because millions of people watch him do stupid crap.
We have millions of people watching us.
I want every single one of you to reach out to Twitch and tell them get their act together.
That's right. Get your act together. There's a lot of you right now. Hey,
as the hobby turns.
Well, thank you, Jason.
The days of our brushes.
The days of our brushes.
The days of our brushes.
A lot of good airbrushing bits. I think that hopefully helps you all. I've captured a lot of it today, so I'm going to put this into a little workup tutorial.
The brush soap opera.
brush soap opera.
Gymnastics drunken brush soap opera.
That's awesome.
There are dozens of us. Dozens.
Let them know. Tell them we sent you. That's our new tagline. Tell them we sent you.
Everybody, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Hopefully, you got some good airbrush tips. I think we pulled the thing that I set up over the weekend off.
Yeah,
pretty well.
Looks great.
I don't know where to take it next on this one. I just was like testing it, and then when I got to that point, I'm like, oh, now I got to finish it. I don't know what to do. That's the problem with colors. You got to finish the colors. But thanks so much for hanging out with us and watching some paint dry. As always, love your faces. If you are new around here, make sure to hit the follow or the sub button so you can get alerted to when we go live. We do this Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year. Incredible. 2 hours a day, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Monument Standard Time here in Monument HQ.
That's right.
Live from Phoenix, Arizona, Zona. You'll pay for the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
That's right.
Right?
That's
Sunday.
right.
We don't stream on Sunday. But make sure you...
You heard me.
You heard me.
You heard me, chat.
You heard me. But make sure to follow all the links that Chris put up in chat there. Join us on our Discord where we're closing in on 7,000 amazing artists in our Discord. It's crazy.
So many.
Great lively conversation over there 7 days a week. Great place to make friends, get inspired, share your own hobby journey. We'd love to hear you. It's a nerd haven. So come join us over there. As well as hanging out here. Remember, it is the year of the giveaway.
That's right.
So we give away something big every single week. Paint sets, brushes, all sorts of stuff. We've got Parabellum Games. The makers of this amazing model have decided to give away one of these this week to a lucky winner.
Yep.
So we'll be giving away the Consumer Beast.
And we'll let you know on socials when that day is.
Yeah,
so
you
stay
never
tuned.
know. You never know, but as you're here in the stream, you'll see the automatic link pop up for going and enter. You only have to enter in one. There it is right there.
That's it.
Near the giveaway. You only have to enter once. You can go back and edit it because we will be adding new things in. We'll have you go follow Parabellum this week on theirs, and that'll get you an extra entry.
Yeah.
So we'll do some fun stuff with it. So lots of fun. Lots of fun.
That's right.
So thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Make sure to stick around. 7K. I think we're closing in on 7K.
I think so.
Yeah, what is M3? What's not true anymore?
Thank you. Not true anymore. Oh, what's not true?
What happened? But make sure to stick around. Chris is going to find us somebody to raid. Show some love in the channel you wind up in, and we will see your lovely faces back here tomorrow. We're out of here. Adios, gang.
Bye.